Hey, everybody, and welcome. It is August 6th, 2021, and we thank you for joining us for our Friday shows live every Friday at 5 o'clock. Today, we're once again going to be talking a little bit about Olympics. This Olympics is wrapping up this weekend, which is really exciting. There's been a lot of fun stuff happening. And then I know, like in San Diego, there's been a lot of athletes with skateboarding and everything happening. It's been really fun to watch. But before we get to all that Olympics, let's just catch up and see what's going on. I know a lot of exciting things happening over in your neck of the woods with preparation for nursing and everything.
Yeah, my orientation was today. So normally it's I think 1 8 hour day, but this year or this cycle it's 2 4 hour days. So today was an online portion where we kind of went over meet your people. They registered
Hmm.
us, and it was a very different registration process. Someone goes, "Oh, hey, I'm registered." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I thought somebody would like reach out to me and tell me like, "Okay, this is what's up. Do you have a preference?" Because they're not set schedules for everybody will not have the exact same schedule. There's 100 of us,
Yeah.
and then so I went and looked, and lo and behold, I have a balance due and a complete schedule, and I never did anything. And I'm like, this is amazing. A little like it was a little off-putting because I didn't have any say in it. I didn't get to pick which days
Yeah.
or even put in a preference at all. Um, but everybody who had their registration packets completed got registered today, automatically, and mine was done, and mine's actually been done for a month. I mean, I had an idea of what they would ask because I applied to another school,
Yeah.
so I had already started compiling everything. I already done my vaccinations, organized it all, like brought it in order of what the list of requests were. Like front and back, every page was in order because I might be a little crazy, and but it paid off well. So um, it's a this I'm not actually even considered a full-time student. I technically only have 9 hours this semester, but the workload with it is whew. But so like for example, my schedule is I have a lecture from on Tuesday from 8 a.m. to noon, and then another one from 1 to 2, and then another from 3 to 4, and I'm done. And then I'm in labs on Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 6. I guess they usually wrap up. They can wrap up around 4ish normally, but you have that space. And then I have clinicals this semester on Sunday from 12 to 4 p.m. So 4 hours. So, your clinical stuff is broken up between lab and clinical time. And the first week, I'm not going to the hospital the first week. The first week is we meet on Sunday afternoon at the campus and we go over I have to. So every semester, I have to show my clinical instructor my vaccinations, my flu shot stuff, everything,
Yeah.
and before because then I'm given a little badge that lets me walk through the hospital. So my student ID, which will say nursing on it, will is what lets me into the hospital, and then it's color coded again to let them know if I'm a beginning student, an intermediate, or advanced. So, um, so it's exciting. You just sort of listening to people talk about it today, it's like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? Oh shit. Actually, it was more like this. Oh dear.
I was gonna say
In my
you're
calm
saying
ass like way. Hi,
you're saying
Chris.
like it's all set up, but that I feel like the thing that makes it real, you have that bill ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris. Oh my God, Matt, my anxiety is building for you. I promise, mine's been building since I was 24. For this. um, but the nice thing is, so when I log in, I can actually see how big my class is.
Hmm.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Um, so all my classes, all the lectures, there's only 15 people. There's a max of 20, but currently there's about 15, and that's where it's going to stay.
Mm.
Because you can't just go class for class. Like your stuff
Yeah.
is set up a certain way, so you have the right classes in the right order. So I only have 15 or 20 people in the class, and on my clinical site, the max is 8, and there's only 5 in mine. So I think that's a lot less stressful than having 50 to 100 people in a major lecture, and then if you have to demonstrating something in front of 100 people is really hard. But when it's like 15 or 20, you're more likely, because I'm going to see these people, the same people, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday
Yeah.
from August 23rd, the week of August 23rd to the week of December 11th. And now I'm sure every semester my little group will rotate, but there is only 95 to 100 of us that are max for the whole 4 semesters. So the nice thing is I'm only going to see these same people this whole time. So we get used to each other, and having that kind of, they encourage it. They encourage you to network, make friends with each other, and work with each other and support each other, which
Yeah.
is nice. The
It's a good thing.
competition, right? The competition is over now. When you're in your prereq classes, sometimes your fellow students, they're your competition. They said for every one person accepted, 6 or 7 did not get in. And that's
Oh, wow.
San Antonio College. Like, this is a community college program, traditionally considered easier to get into. And that's a lot. So the lecture was long today because, of course, orientations always include things that,
Yeah.
one thing every school I've ever attended that did an orientation like this, the only thing I like that they'll usually have presentations broken up, so they always provide contact information, what services they provide. I think some of them shouldn't happen until you've been on campus for a week or two. Where you kind of know what buildings are, what things look like, you have points of reference, and that you're not just sitting in a lecture hall, or in our case Zoom, just listening to a stranger talk. That they attach it as part of one of the classes, like, oh hey, this person's coming into this class, and then makes the presentation to a smaller group, and you have more of an idea, like, oh yeah, I know where that building is, yes, I know what that means. Whereas in the beginning, you're getting all of this really good information, but you're trying to just make mental notes, write down everything, because there is no follow-up email, there's no outline of
Yeah.
what was. You're just kind of hoping you remember if you need it. But I learned that there's a lot of great resources they're putting in. And it's something I wanted to talk about because, we try not to overdo it, talk about COVID, because we know everybody's stressed to a point, and if you're not listening at this point, you're not listening. So, beating a dead horse and all. But I was curious on how are they going to handle us with being on campus, going to clinical sites, keeping us protected.
Yeah.
So they are doing extra things to make sure that we don't really have to leave campus during the day. That there's food kiosks and trucks that are there for the days that we're there for school and lectures, so that we don't have to leave campus. And there was a lot of questions about, is the vaccine mandated? And I'm like, y'all better be asking because you live far away from a site or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, but one person, our coordinator, said, so yeah, we're not mandating it yet for us. However, we already have one clinical site that is asking for it. So we do have to turn in our vaccination cards if we're vaccinated. At this point, it is considered voluntary. I did not hear any rumblings that anybody had a problem with it. They just wanted to know where to send the paperwork or what to do. Chris, I have a question. I love shows like Nurses and shows like that. So are you going to be an intern like those actors? No, I will. So basically, a student nurse does nurse things. Like, you're just acting under supervision. Like, your whole thing is like, you have to basically, like, from day one, well, from the day we started getting emails, it's like, think like a nurse. So, because we actually do deliver care, we do all those things. We're just supervised in a super limited scope. Like I'll have
Yeah.
my stethoscope on me, but I'm not likely on clinical days. During the lab days, maybe, but clinical days, I will likely not have to even carry it around my neck, because you want to minimize a student accidentally being pulled into a situation that maybe they shouldn't be a part of yet without supervision or somebody watching. Chris, I guess really being in hospitals. Yeah. So I think for this semester, it's going to be a little more low key. I don't even know what site I'm going to. Somebody did ask, like, hey, where are you sending us? Like, what possible sites? And the coordinator was like, I don't know. It can be anywhere in San Antonio. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, help. So, those are very real things that happen to students. And this is actually very common, but I don't really talk about that part often because I was never really in it until now. So, and also COVID has changed a lot of things, and schools are case by case individually evaluating every situation. And it's very possible that if Delta rages too hard, that they could decide to just send us home again. And we would have to work. I would have to work from Zoom, doing my classes, which is not so great. I mean, I love online work, and I don't really want to drive 30 minutes to 2 days a week for lecture and lab. But at the same time, it's really important to me that I'm able to practice skills and learn things and be on top of it. And because I think you want your nurse to be involved. You want them to know what they're doing. So we will all have plenty of PPE. ICUs are full around here again, and I'm scared for you to be in a hospital. I will not be in a hospital for probably another month. And at that point, I will only be in the hospital if I'm even in a hospital setting, which I'm pretty sure I will be, once a week for 4 hours at a time. That's it. Like, I'm not going to be called back in to, work weekends or do extra things. And unfortunately, I know that's recommended, but if they ask for student nurse help, I am very unlikely to provide it extra because I don't want to spend extra time in a hospital setting that I don't have to.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And I will definitely keep you updated because I think it's important for people to understand like what students are going through and new medical staff, because they are really like, yeah, we want you safe. We want you trained because we need you. But at the same time, like, it doesn't help, I mean, I am vaccinated. I had the Pfizer shot, which was like literally the least painful injection I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had a lot. I've been stuck many times. And it actually doesn't bother me anymore. It used to. I used to get really severe anxiety. And then I realized, like, well, then I've seen some of the things that happen to people that didn't get some of the injections I've had to have or some of the procedures I've had to have. And I'm like, yeah, like, people compliment my teeth and my smile, but you want to know how I got there? Yeah. I had to have a few procedures done. And you know what? None of them hurt because of about 5 seconds of discomfort, not even pain. It was more like discomfort. I get more stressed someone sticking their fingers in my mouth than I do the actual, like, needle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are some people you meet that you're like, what do you do for a living again? Like, they just make you uncomfortable, And then other people, you're like, oh yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. I'm not even paying
So,
attention to them.
what you're saying is when I meet you, don't put my fingers in your mouth?
I didn't say that. You put fingers, not words, Cody. But
that is so
yes, that's
exciting.
what's happening. It is exciting, but there is the excitement of it's the next step in a career I wanted for a very, very long time. But there is it's a very real, like, oh wow, I'm really doing this and I'm super excited. And I've gotten a lot of support from Twitter from it because a lot of medical people are on Twitter and a lot of nurses, and there's nurses in my family. Most of them don't even know what I'm doing. It's amazing. But it's exciting that I get to do this. And now some people, one guy was going on today about nursing in a way that I'm just like, not my style, but everybody has their different reasons for doing it and their wants for doing it and how it makes them feel. I'm always there for the people. However, I'm not there for the job because every job, if you let them, will run you to death. So, my my love for it is in that, one, I think it's really fascinating because you get to see you get to learn so much. I think it's a practical set of skills because, I always took this very weird practicality with choosing careers and stuff. I'm like, well, what if I want to move away or do something or have to move away or have to go do something? What's something I can do that I would love? And I would always just kind of circle back to nursing. And I'm like, oh, that's hard. It's going to take me 2 or 3 years to learn and get those skills and get licensed. And yeah, and look, I went ahead and did it anyway. But you know what? I did it. I'm doing it. I'm so excited. I'm technically starting. This is semester 3 of 6. The whole program is actually 6 semesters. And then an additional 3 semesters if I want to get my bachelor's degree in nursing from the school, which they showed, they were trying to promote that today because they got the accreditation to start that. and they showed all the classes that you need. I have all of them, actually. All
That's
of them.
exciting too.
So I only actually need, they could technically make me retake government, like US history 1 and 2, but I've taken other courses that are equivalent, so it depends on the school. So at most 2, but I technically have all of them. So I could go back summer. I would graduate in spring of 23. I could graduate in spring of 24 with my bachelor's degree in nursing, attending online. So, which is my actual plan. I want my bachelor's degree in it because this is gonna sound petty, and Cody, I know you're gonna laugh about this, but growing up like really poor and around people who just kind of laughed about education, were like they did everything they could to skip every school, and not really being overly encouraged outside of my family to continue my education. For the amount of times I've been called stupid in my life to walk out with 2 science degrees in things that I'm passionate about, not that a degree really means anything. I didn't do this for anybody else. I did this for me. So it's a personal accomplishment of mine for myself that I care about. And I'm very excited to have done something for myself and put to use every single credit I've ever taken. I'm super excited for myself.
Yes, that's so exciting. So soon, everybody, Nurse Matt will be here. Of course, we also, it's not just Nurse Matt, it is official that it is Author Matt. Author Matt
Oh my
is in the
God, I
house.
forgot about that. Do you know, I've literally forgotten that I wrote that. Like, I love it, and I think about it, and I'm even literally writing the sequel. I spend a day or 2 a week sitting down and with it, but I don't think of, I try not to, like, let my head run away with it because I have to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Or I will literally go straight ADHD and I'm done.
But everybody, he has 5 ratings. He has 5 ratings now.
Yeah, did you see?
Yay.
I got my 1 star. Woo!
But yes, everybody, look at
Somebody
this.
wrote me a
So
1 star.
he's a 4-star book. It's a 4-star book because someone gave him a 1 star
without actually writing a review. They did not say why they didn't like it.
They're
just
like,
that
we
they
just
didn't
don't
like
like
it. So
this.
I know me. I can think of reasons I give me a 1 star. I wasn't actually mad. I just thought it was funny, and I'm like, damn.
But you also have more people have actually wrote reviews down for you for the book.
Yeah.
So that's
I've gotten
exciting.
4 whole reviews, which when so next Friday is Cody and I's 100th show. And Cody mentioned this yesterday. We were working on some episodes for everybody, and he wanted to reference on our 100th show some of the things we talked about. We did a live early on in 2019. It was like we just went on YouTube and did a live. We kind of didn't know what we were doing. It was terrible audio and video, and a little cringy, but we talked about the book a little bit. And this was before I had written maybe 500 words of it, maybe 600 of it that I consider canon. And wow. So it's kind of funny. And I was just talking about, I had not left my job yet. I had not actually done any of that. It was a few weeks before I quit my job and even finished my degree, my psych degree. I was still about 2 weeks. I was about a week from turning in my last assignment, which I took pictures of myself after I turned in my very last assignment, and I looked tired. I looked very tired. But yeah, it was like that. Funny that you mentioned that. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. We had talked about all those things, and now 2+ years later, well, about 2.5 years later, so many of those things
so
I've knocked off the list. It's so exciting.
So much has changed.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So that is what has been going on with Matt. Chris is saying, damn it, Karen, leaving 1 star with no review.
Right.
That's
so
how
Chris,
you know you made it, when you have petty
when you
people like that.
rating it.
So that is what's happening in the world of Matt. But let's see what's happening in the world of Olympics. So this is our current medal count. Of course, we only have, let's see, 2 days, about 1.5 days left of actual competition before the closing ceremonies happen on Sunday. Obviously, there's the time difference, so they happen like Saturday night actually here. But So this is where we are.
Hi,
Oh,
Kitty.
99.
Hi, puppy.
99
Sorry, Kitty just showed up
medals.
and just started talking. He's a chirper.
Kitty's like, let me on.
Let me see if
Salem
let
gets
me
to
see if
be
I can show him
on.
to you.
Here, we'll pull down the medals for a second and see if we can see Kitty. Oh, there's Kitty.
Hi, puppy. He's a very sweet little boy, but
I
he's a
love
chirper.
it.
So when he and Keith lived in their old house, he was a little more. He's always very very sweet, but he was an outdoor cat that adopted Keith. So now a couple years later, he's completely indoors, and since they've moved here, he acts more like a little puppy with Keith, and it's so damn cute. But he has gotten more used to us. He did know us because we did interact with him at Keith's house, but
Yeah.
now he lets us. He shows up for pets and he chirps and talks, and so that's been nice. It's very
That's
cute.
so
Of
cute.
course, it's when it's completely quiet and you hear a meow that you're not used to hearing. I'm very used to the other two sounds. Just Kitty
Hmm.
doesn't wear a collar yet. We're still working on him. Hey, hi, Keith. Kitty, get out of there. um, Sometimes we're still working to get a collar on him so he stops scaring the hell out of us out of nowhere. Because he's a little ninja. He'll show up out of nowhere and meow, and like,
Salem's the ultimate ninja since he is black. You can hardly see him, especially at night, because the lights are off and we have like just the TV on, and you're walking, and you just get
does he
well.
like jump out of
You don't
nowhere?
get swatted. You like get he like bites your feet and
Does he
ankles.
like jump and like cling on to you when he does it?
I mean, when he like bites you, he starts falling down and starts trying to kick you. So it's not the greatest.
I wonder how old Salem actually is. He acts like a 1 year old cat, like right on the other side, like still an
Yeah, I
adolescent,
feel
like
he's
hyper.
pretty young, just because some of the earlier photos of when we first saw him outside, and then now he definitely has grown. But he's being sweet. He loves this. We have a like a beanbag chair that he sits in, and he just loves it. It's so
Yeah, when
comfortable
we
too.
started
So
recording, by the way, uh, before we ever go online, Cody is on. Cody has to let me into the room, and then it connects our audio, and then um, I hear whatever we can hear what's happening at each other's houses. Right when you approved it, I don't know what Salem like bit something or got you, and because it was the opening audio went from silence in this house to you yelling through a microphone, and all of us jumped.
oh, he was trying to he was gonna lay here, but then he started playing with the mic and trying to bite the foam on the mic, and then I was like, nope, we're not having this today, not today. Of course, everybody who's in the room, thank you for joining us for the show. If you're new to the show, just remember you can leave a comment in the chats, whatever platform you're on. We can see it, and we'll interact with you. So if you have something to say on a topic that we're talking about, just put it in the comments. Or if you have some random topic, still just put it in the comments.
And today's a
It's
little more of a
always exciting.
relaxed day because we're kind of getting ready to kind of transition a little bit. Um, we're gonna keep the same format and everything for the rest of the season, but with me going back to school, my demands are gonna increase like tenfold on, and I'm gonna have a lot less time to do things like this. So it's gonna go 0 to 100 for me really fast. So
Sometimes
um,
you may have to deal with just me. Maybe I'll just do like a special show. uh, Keith says, "Cody, did you get the purple mattress yet?" Yes. So, we actually talked about it in one of the episodes that's coming out next week. But if you're here, you're gonna get to hear it again. I'll go ahead and talk about it real quick. Yes, the mattress finally arrived, which is really exciting because it took over a month. They said it wouldn't take that long, but whatever. It kind of got lost for a bit, and no one knew where it was, and they were just like, "We're investigating." Finally arrived. They brought it in. It was set up really quickly. They took the old mattress, which was great because it's always like a pain to get rid of a mattress, especially in California. Like it just is. It's pretty much difficult to do. You basically have to take it to the city dump, but then you have to have a vehicle that gets it there. Anyway, it arrived. We made the bed. We bought new stuff this past weekend, making sure everything was set, and we slept on it, and it was amazing. So amazing. Justin, well, his alarm didn't go off for some reason, and like he woke up late the first after the first night because he slept so well. Now, normally, if his alarm doesn't go off or whatever, Ella will wake everybody up. It's time to eat. She has her normal time to eat. She didn't even wake up. He actually was telling me the other day he got up, showered, did everything. Normally, she's up whining, wanting food. Uh, he went into the kitchen, did some stuff, came back. She was still in the bed. She only got out of the bed when she heard the blender come on. Normally, again, she had been out of the bed for over an hour and a half. She loves the bed too. She just like she's always on it. We think actually we were talking about it today that because of the grid system, it like really keeps you cool more so than like memory foam because that can get warm sometimes. So because the grid, there's constant air in there, and since we think she doesn't really press down on the grid because it just kind of evenly balances her weight, it's just like cool air all the time on her. But it's amazing. I love it. I don't know why anyone else would get any other mattress but a purple mattress, purple pillows, even the purple sheets. Amazing. And yes, Chris, purple does need a sponsor uh, us. So we can get one for the guest room, and then Matt can get some pillows and cushions and mattresses. Yeah,
Will
I
we get
would
that
totally
sponsorship?
recommend purple. Chris, yes. Wow, I need to get a purple mattress now. Yes. Uh, amazing. The best bed I've ever slept on in my entire life. And Justin was also talking about today um, that he was like worried about it a little bit because it was like it's an expensive mattress. We didn't get the most expensive one, like the time when we first talked about this, and I told Matt I wanted the number 4. We ended up getting the number 3, and I'm glad we got that one. But he was talking about that he was like a little worried because it was so expensive that like would he regret it after he got it? Because sometimes you make a big purchase and then it's just like, it's
Yeah.
good, but
It's scary.
was it
Nobody
worth
talks
it?
about that when you're a kid. When you're learning about adult things, nobody talks to you about buyer's regret, and it is real. It is strong, even if it's something that's really beneficial. And one of my friends, who I would say he's a fairly successful person, he's just very responsible, and he always told me when I was getting older, he's like, if you have to buy something, try to buy the best version of the thing that you want, like assuming that you like it and take care of it. But he's like, because that version of it, if you researched it right and got the good quality version that you like, you'll never be trying to replace it. You'll be happy with it and just take care of it. And I try to practice that, but I don't want to say I'm a full on minimalist. I just I got so used to not really having a lot of things I don't need in the house because I had a big dog for a very long time. A 60-pound clumsy ass dog is not it's just not the kind of dog to have and then have things that can get knocked over. And even then, I still lost a few tables, shelves, and planters and things like that. Her and Simon got into a chase one day, tore through the second floor of the townhouse, and took out I don't know how many things and broke several things. And I think every pet owner has that story at some point, and I've been pretty lucky, but I never wanted to. And also, I mean, I always have done most of the cleaning, and Chris would know that, especially having him known me when I was much younger. I somehow like always did all of the cleaning at that time in those years, and less to clean around, less to clean up, like just so frustrating. And Chris, I'm so bad about buying small cheap stuff, but I have major buyer's regret when it comes to a bigger purchase. Yeah, so it, David has almost had to buy like when I've needed a laptop or something. I almost just have to let him do it because I'll just overdo it. I'll just overwork my mind on what I should. But what's wild, it's only for me. When we needed to buy him a new computer, like he needed a desktop finally, and because he's been working off laptops forever, and he needed one. He was like, "Oh, well, what do you think?" I was like, "Well, I don't care. I was never worried about him spending way more to get way more than he needed. We're very much like get what we need versus like getting a ton of something. So I've never worried that he was going to do that. So when he's like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, "Oh, well, whatever you think's best for you. You are smarter than me at this stuff. I don't know." And I just have total and complete trust. So me sit down to buy something. well, I don't know if I want to spend that. Oh dear. Well, do I really need that? I don't need that. I don't need it. I'm fine. And then a month later, David's like, "Didn't you need that?" Well, not that bad.
Yeah,
I think he's
it
in the next room, probably either ignoring me entirely or like staring down his phone.
yeah, totally a true thing. But yeah, so no regrets here. The mattress came, it's lovely, everybody loves it. And yes, please sponsor us, Purple. It would be amazing.
It'd be really fun
Again,
to leave
I'm
like a Yelp review, as like, like signing off as like, "Oh hi, I'm one of their tricks" or something. Like it was just really comfortable. Even with the handcuffs and the ball gag in, I just slept so well.
yes, that would be your review. That would be the review. I guarantee. Again, I would not recommend any other mattress but a Purple mattress.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Best
say something
mattress
totally
ever.
different.
Well, I mean, I could.
I guess
Uh,
this is the Sunday late night.
Sunday late night.
We might
Never.
have to kind of merge
Some.
them a little bit because Sunday late nights are becoming a challenge with like work and school. And David goes back to work too, so he has to get up really early. Um, do you know I have been up at 6 a.m. this week? Did you know that, Cody?
That's early.
And because I went to sleep between 10:30 and midnight, and I got up the other day. I was at the gym, like I warmed up, and then I was on the leg press at 6:35 in the morning. And this morning I got to the gym and started. Today is a cardio. I planned it as a cardio day. I got there and I biked for 30 minutes. So 5.6 miles later, I'm like, Matt is secretly one of those amazing Amazon review writers. Do y'all remember a couple years ago? Oh, it's probably more than a couple years ago now. There was a review for Bic pens or something. It was like more of an effeminate pen, and the reviews were so funny. It was one of these guys was like, "I use this pen, and then I got my period," and it was just like they were so freaking ridiculous and outlandish, and they were all so funny, and they brought me a lot of joy.
Keith says, I think all the viewers should get Purple mattresses too, for reviews. Here's the deal. If
Yes,
they,
product
I mean,
testing.
not that it would be a good thing. It would be a lot off, but it would be expensive. But if they sponsor us, they give discount codes, and then we would get a percentage points of
What
that.
would be
But
our
you would
discount
get,
code?
I,
What would it be
well,
called?
hopefully they would let us choose it. But I feel like it would just become a cast.
Would it be?
Matt, we got to keep it G-rated. Yeah, I know it's a
I was
bad.
gonna say like, well, you buy all these pillows, and it's like, are we gonna call it like, use
It
discount
does.
code
It does.
Cody's Cakes
Wait,
to
does
get.
it does? It doesn't come with it. You have to purchase it separately. But there is a mattress protector. I know some people would find this mattress protector very useful uh, for extracurricular activities.
Especially the reviewer that has to sleep in the ball gag and hood and glove and handcuffs. I mean,
I know this is a Friday show, but I did have a friend do this certain activity in their bed, but they didn't have a mattress protector, and I was like, uh, that's wet.
oh, I get it. I was not there. I'm there now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just
Oh,
straight up
okay.
tell everybody what it is, but
I
uh,
get it now. I'm
you
like,
can do it by yourself, and it's a lot of liquid. uh, Chris says, "Look up sugar-free gummy bear review on Amazon." I
oh my
died. Oh my
god,
gosh,
the sugar-free gummy bear one is some of the funniest shit I've ever read in my life. If you want, only eat these if you want to have your intestines power washed. They were so funny. David and I still laugh about that. It was the Haribo sugar-free gummy bears, and even now when we go to Target or something, if we see them, we start laughing because we're completely children actually.
and they
They're
they think
so
they're
Cody. I hope you.
children. Wait till I go with them to the store, and I'm just like, these are my two dads,
Yeah.
daddy. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Poor
film it.
Keith suffers at our hands so greatly.
um,
Like we literally terrorize him. We
Also on
told him.
sugar.
The other day was like, I was like, what's gonna happen when he comes home like from a date or something, and then we run out into the yard in our jammies, like, Dad, you gotta tuck us in.
Oh my
We gotta be
goodness.
holding like teddy bears.
Well, you need to be in a onesie.
David,
Actually,
see, I would have a Scooby Doo onesie because I love Scooby Doo. David's would be a Sailor Moon onesie.
okay,
Kitty
okay.
just me. I don't know if you heard Kitty chirp just now, but the timing was great.
Well, I was gonna.
Oh
Let's
God!
see. Well,
Are
I
you looking
can't.
up the
Well,
reviews?
no, I was gonna do something with a onesie and a diver, but it won't let me download it because they're considering that dangerous. Um, they're doing
He'd
something
also go
dangerous.
with it.
Cameras. We got to set up cameras at your house, and then
Now
everyone
that
can
would be a
watch. Like, can
TikTok
we
video.
make your house? We'll make your house like a cam house, a Bucky's onesie. Love it, love it. Uh, let's look real
Like,
quick though. At those medal counts, like I was saying a minute
oh
ago,
yeah, sorry,
we're
Cody.
we're at 99 medals total. The United States has 31 gold, 36 silver, 32 bronze. China's still number 2, and of course 3 is the Russia Olympic Committee scams over there. I don't know. I feel like there's some. I don't know if they should have been allowed again to participate this year, but whatever. And Great Britain at 4. Yeah, China still has the most gold. It looks like they'll probably win the gold medal race, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to catch up to the United States for total medals. So that's really exciting. I thought this was interesting, Matt. That here in San Diego, if we were considering San Diego as its own country, um, we would rank number 21 in all the world for most medals won, having 11 medal winners from San Diego, 4 of them gold, 2 silver, and 5 bronze, which is exciting.
Congratulations, San Diego.
Yes. And one of those people from San Diego who did win, well, I thought I had this. They won in skateboarding. They got the bronze medal, which was super exciting. I'll pull that up real quick. He participated in the free skate portion of skateboarding. I don't really, there's different events in skateboarding. I really didn't know the difference between all of them. I'm not the best when it comes to skateboarding. It's fun to watch. I love all the tricks. But he won the bronze medal, Corey. So that was exciting. He did some like pretty crazy tricks. I sometimes wish that I could be a skateboarder, um, but then I'm like, well, the problem is to get to a level where you could actually do cool things, you're gonna fall down a lot, and
You're a
I don't want to be
gymnast.
bruised. Yeah, but here that's the deal though. I guess because you start young,
You get
the
used to being like dropped and thrown and tripping.
well, you're not as heavy when you're younger, so when you fall, it's not as like detrimental. You're also not as old. So if you're like, if I'm starting skateboarding now, I'm older. My body is weaker. I'm just like, it's not gonna end up well.
Did you ever have a serious injury or anything while you were a gymnast or playing sport?
No, just some pulled muscles.
Yeah, I
Thankfully, I
got
was
lucky.
lucky.
All I ever did was I think a couple of sprained wrists, sprained ankles. Because you tumble a lot. You fall down. I mean, like tumble down the
Mhm.
stairs because of because I'm clumsy.
I, I,
um,
I what were we do? What were we doing? It was this weekend, and we were getting something for Gabe because he's about to go back out on tour, and so he was here Monday, and it was his last like time before we like take him to the airport, um, coming up soon, and we got him like this powder you put in coffee from one of our favorite coffee places, and
that's so
so
sweet.
we stopped there to get it, and but because I'm wearing a mask now when we go out, but I forgot to get my mask out of the car, and there was no parking, so Justin like dropped me off, and then I was like, ah, dang it, I have a cloth mask attached to the bag that I carry. I was like, okay, this will do. It's not great, it's not what I want, but it'll do. Anyway, then I saw that he parked right outside, so I was like, okay, no, I'm having to wait in a line because they had one person doing everything, and there was people in front of me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to run out real quick, grab my mask, and then come back in. but as I stepped off to get to the car, I stepped off the curb, like almost like sprained my ankle. And then we stopped to get sandwiches. Right after that, we just went. It was like really nearby, so we like drove like 30 seconds to get to a parking lot, get out, walk to get sandwiches. I stepped wrong again, same ankle, almost messed it up again. And then I did something. Oh, I did something else the same day. Once we got home, same ankle, almost messed up again. Oh, I almost slipped. That's what it was. Hi, Salem. Salem was joining me. But yeah, I was like, ugh. But I don't think I could learn to do
Like you were like
any.
destined to like fall on your butt that day, apparently.
I
And
guess so,
Chris says
but
they opened a Bucky's north of him, and it was anxiety inducing with all the people, but still awesome. First time ever eating gas station food, but it was so good. Oh yeah, Bucky's is an experience. It's like an entire experience to go there. Do they have them in your parts of Texas, Cody?
no,
Really?
they do
That's
not.
kind of surprising.
I've never actually been to one.
What? I don't understand. That just seems like something you would like
Well, because
done a story
they didn't
or
open
gotten banged
until
behind
after
or something.
they didn't open until after I had already left. So
Wow, not...
I couldn't um I couldn't
I didn't
visit.
know if you had a comment. I'm sorry. Did you hear what I said?
I did not hear what you said.
I was like, oh, it seems like something you would have known about or done a story on or gotten banged behind of, you know? Like
Oh my gosh. Isn't that a little too classy for that kind of thing? Doesn't it have to be like a sketchy one? Salem, you're being
Any
cute. I
gas
need to
station
take
can
a
be a
photo.
shady gas station if you believe, Cody. You really need to believe a little more, you know. Kind of like, you know.
Okay. I believe in everything and anything.
Oh
Um
yeah.
uh Matt, I know you were excited about this probably. Thank thank goodness. Simone Biles did get to participate. We talked about last week she had pulled out a team event and then she pulled out of all the individual finals, and each day it was another individual thing that she pulled out of, and it was like, is she gonna be able to participate and have that one chance? Obviously, dealing with the mental issues that we had talked about and the safety concerning that, but she felt good enough and was able to do the balance beam and walked
And that
away with a yeah, bronze medal. That's exciting. I always thought if I was in the Olympics, I wouldn't have. First, I would want a gold. I would want a gold medal, um, but I would also, I feel like, want to have a silver and a bronze medal. Like I would
can you
want all.
feel my eyes rolling? You just want one of each?
Yeah, I would like one of each. Like I would want a gold first because you need to get a gold. But then like I wouldn't have an issue getting a silver and bronze because like you want to complete the collection, right? Now I understand Michael Phelps, like he doesn't have a silver or bronze. I don't know that for sure, but he has a lot of gold medals. But it's like, do you want to complete the collection? I don't
He
know.
says
But I
Bucky's
was so happy for
against.
her.
No, that's really great that she medaled. I think that's what she got on the balance beam a couple years ago, back in Rio. I think she got a bronze on the beam, but it was great that she was able to participate, and she adjusted her routine to be more comfortable doing it, and that's so crazy that her, I guess, the least amount of performance, and she still walked away with two medals. You
Yeah,
know,
I heard her talking about the dismount was the thing because you don't do a lot of twisting and tumbling, and that was the worrying problem with the
right?
situation. And so the dismount is what would be the problem potentially. And so they were like, okay, we can do the dismount. That is less points that I did like I don't know like 5 years ago. Like one of her beginning dismounts that she ever did, and she was like, oh, it was kind of a learning experience to try to learn to like do that because even though she was disoriented at times, her body still had some natural ability to do the more extreme. And so it was kind of like quick learning thing to like draw it back down to do that
I actually
easier
watched a thing on
dismount.
that to explain like how she helped herself, and they modified her routine to make sure she didn't accidentally twist and lose track of herself and hurt herself. So when she dismounted, oh, I guess I should have talked. We should have talked about this. So you could pull the clip of it up. So when she dismounted, she grabbed her thighs and legs in the air and to keep them straight so she wouldn't twist in the air. So she just flipped rather than
Mm.
flipped and twisted. And it was intentional in order for her to keep herself, so she knew where she would know where she was and land on her feet. And with obviously, I know I'm sure everybody loves seeing, I mean, it's Simone Biles, like watching her performance like crazy, but their safety is, the most important thing. So
Yeah.
it was interesting. I'm glad she got to perform, and I'm sure, it's still crazy. Like the least she's performed, she still walks away with 2 medals. Like, I mean, she still added 2 more medals to her collection.
Mhm.
Because I think she would
I
still be considered a silver medalist for team because she did compete
Yes.
technically.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
yeah, she did walk away with that silver medal as well. They were on the Today Show, and they were asking, again, they were asking, "What are you going to eat?" And so some of them said they were going to get steak. I think the same one, I can't remember which one of them said she was going to get pizza, and that's I think it was I can't remember her name right now. I'm going blank on which one, but pizza and steak. And then they came to Simone Biles, and she was like what about like does a margarita count? And she was like, and Jenna Bush was sitting next to her, and Jenna Bush was like, uh, "Yeah, it counts. I mean, we're from Texas, right? That counts. That's a
yeah,
thing."
yeah.
I loved it. So Simone Biles is gonna get that
Good
margarita
for
when she got
her.
back, and then they were in New York. It must have been crazy because they flew from Japan to be on the Today Show in New York, and then she flew back that same day and got to Houston in the afternoon and
Right,
got
because they
back home.
usually will do a tour, like after the Olympics. The most of
Hmm.
the Olympians do like a tour and demos and things like that, and so that's interesting. And I'm glad, it's almost like this. After seeing what happened, and I think Simone's situation really highlighted like the dangers of people competing,
Hmm.
because many athletes came out and said that they tried to compete through it and they broke things, they severely injured themselves. I mean, you can suffer life altering changes and injuries or death from gymnasts have broken their necks, like it happens. So I'm so glad she didn't try to push through it, that she made a point of doing the right thing for herself and being able to stand up for herself, and that her coaches and everybody supported her, which I thought was fantastic. Um, but obviously, I think there's like this like slight relief. Like, so I watched the uh, her beam routine, and I think I was like, there's like like almost like holding your breath, like watching it, like, oh God, okay. And I think when you watch any athlete do their thing, especially somebody who's like the pinnacle of their sport, it's just they make it look so easy in any sport. I watched a
Hmm.
lot of the skateboarders and stuff, and I'm just like, they just make it like they look like they're having a normal day at the park. But I'm just like, I could see different points where I would fall on my face and be skidding, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
So I thought it was interesting. They were talking to Sean White. He's kind of been a correspondent at the Olympics, and Sean White, obviously snowboarder. He also is from Southern California. Started off doing skateboarding as a kid, and he was talking. And I never really thought about this, but he was talking about like when he was in school, it was hard for him to take time off to go skateboarding because it's like gives a letter to his school or teacher. I have to take off some time because I have to go skateboarding, and it's
and
like
nobody takes him
or
seriously.
not snowboarding, I meant. Yeah, and no one takes him seriously. And it's like because at that point in time, going back, a handful 10, 15 years ago, it was like that's not a sport. I mean, we had X Games, but even that was like X Games was created because it was like these things were considered not sport-ish like, and so they created the X Games. But I was like, oh, I've never thought about that because I can imagine like you give a letter to your teacher like I have to go do some snowboarding things, and it's like, do you really have to go snowboard? But it's like, no, this is I do sports.
This
This
is
is
my
a
sport.
thing. Um,
Right.
and on that topic about we sports and new sports coming in skateboarding, it was the first year here at the Tokyo Olympics, which is really exciting. And I love that a lot of contestants and sports people from Japan walked away with medals, because I thought that was exciting. I thought Americans were going to walk away with a lot more than they did, but I'm glad that Japan did that in skateboarding. But the International Olympic Committee did announce today, Matt, that they are going to recognize cheerleading as a sport. And so the next step, it will be petitioned to become in the Olympics, potentially in Los Angeles for 2028. So
Can you
cheerleading
imagine?
could be joining the Olympics now.
They
So
do
I thought that
sound
was,
pretty crazy. It's actually kind of surprising that because like when people compete, they're like screaming and tumbling and it's all coordinated and it's not just like, you know, when we watch team events in like a lot of Olympic, it's a lot of times team is a lot of individuals working together and
mm-hmm.
if one of them screws up, it could screw the team's score. They're not necessarily doing unless it's like synchronized swimming or something like that. But holy crap, man, the injuries I've seen from cheerleading. I think that's what I worry about being a nurse is, you see. I mean, I've seen them from just my view, and like when I worked at the urgent care, you just see kids coming with sports injuries and oh my god, commonly sprained wrists and ankles.
Mm-hmm.
That was super common. Somebody tripped, somebody fell, bad catch, bad throw, whether it was a human, a baseball, or a soccer that they caught in the hand or the face, and it just
Yeah,
happened.
I've always said cheerleading is a sport. A lot of people right, disagree with that, but it requires a lot of practice, a lot of effort, a lot of strength and energy to do that. That your normal everyday person that's making these comments could never ever do in their life.
Yeah, even when it's a sport I'm not really interested in, I'm still recognizing that I'm looking at somebody who is likely the best at what they do, even if it's not something that I particularly would ever want to do. Um, I'm just like, damn, they still put in years of their life to become good at what they do because they're passionate about it or they love the sport or they love what they do or whatever it is about it. Because I
Yeah,
think it's cool they're expanding the Olympic sports. I feel bad for some of the younger people that maybe don't want to do it, like parents forcing kids to do these sports. Yeah, like the whole idea of like stage parents is really like kind of scary. Like people that
Matt, do you
don't want to
think
do
I
it, they
would?
just have to be good at it.
Do you think I would be a stage parent?
Do you want me to answer that?
I probably would be. I wouldn't like force them if they were just like no, but if they wanted to do the sport, I would be the one that's like, "Oh my god, yes, we're going to get you all this stuff. We're going to do this. Yes, let's put you on let's get you on everything. Let's do this. Let's do this." uh
Um, we kind of had the David and I kind of had the thing. Although we've ultimately decided not to do kids, when we did talk about like we talked about all the things like okay, if we have kids, like what are we kind of feeling how to support our kid in the arts and sports, and it's like okay, we want them to try things, but at the same time like I don't want them to basically like be able to run amok. Like okay, one art and one sport a year, and that's it. Like because we want to be able to support them and afford it,
yeah,
and
can be
get them
expensive.
through it and be able to support them in it. So, yeah, if they want to stick with it for a couple years and then change, okay, yeah, fine. I mean, I know some sports kind of run concurrently, and that's not my issue. I just don't want them
You don't want that you wouldn't have wanted them to do like do this for like a few weeks and be like, I'm going to do this one and do this one, do this
right,
and just like
because they might change because oh, their friends are doing it, so they want to try it too.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine. But if
You
you
know,
do it, you got to commit to it, like for a little bit.
Chris also says, I just want the kids to actually want to do it and not being forced to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
It's super
I,
important and keeping them healthy. A lot of these kids are, forced to compete to a point where, their parents have invested, a lot of times parents are taking out second mortgages in order to fund their kids training and everything. So there's a lot of pressure on the kid to at least go through with it. So,
yeah, Chris, yeah, I think you're completely right on this whole topic actually, because these sports parents are just like parents who like have their kids do acting and stuff. There's a lot of pressure put on everybody about that. One thing I feel like if I had a kid, I would want them to try things or explore things. I wouldn't like force
yeah.
them to do it, but also at the same time, I know for me, like there probably are many things that I wish that I would have tried now, but when I was younger, I was too shy to do it. And so that's one of the things that I wouldn't have wanted my parents to force me to do something, but maybe like a little push to do it. Like because it's like you can't be too shy. Like get out of that comfort zone a little bit because again, now I would have been like, oh my God, I wished I would have done that. But at the time I was super shy.
Yeah. I
And
would
that's one
definitely,
thing.
now that I know the symptoms to recognize and like what I see in myself, I would absolutely, I'm not going to drag them by their hair to a sport, but it's like, no, you're going to try something. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But it's
Yeah.
important to at least try. And if you're not a sports person, you prefer the arts, great. Or the other, or both, that's
Yeah.
fine. Just whatever
Well,
it is, we're going to try stuff.
one of the things I helped start like a youth theater where I'm from, and I would probably for sure push my kid to do this theater or some sort of theater program because there were many people who were very shy kids, and once they did this, it really opened them up. And then now you would never know that they were like a shy kid. And it's been multiple kids who have gone into this and they really didn't want to do it. And they were kind of really shy about the situation. And not that that carries on to being an actor or doing acting things, but I do I think it helps develop a kid not to be
Right.
as shy and to open up a little bit more and to maybe do sports and stuff because they
Right,
might
and
be
it's
afraid
also, I
to
think
do
it's
it.
in a more controlled environment too. When you kind of expect kids to just like, oh, they'll learn about it at school. Well, if they happen to have a teacher or classmates that are total monsters to them, it may not ever help them open up. They might do what they have to do and immediately shut down even harder. And then they start avoiding situations or opportunities that they may have liked or at least wanted to try. No, like you said, it's like you're not saying that, oh, they're going to become like some A-list actor, but it's more about trying something and finding a way, bless you, to help be less shy, be more comfortable speaking and projecting and putting yourself out there.
Goodness. Yeah. Although I would love for them to be an A-list actor, I would be all for that.
Cody,
But
it's like
I'm
this would be Cody's like, oh yeah, them theater kids, I bully them. What's your kid do? He's a theater kid.
Chris says, same Cody. I love swimming, and my parents wanted me to be on a swim team in high school, but obviously I couldn't be in a speedo around guys that I liked. LOL. Well, I do have a speedo video in a minute for everybody, so stay tuned, everybody. Real quick, someone else that was exciting, a new sport was climbing, and Nathaniel Coleman won silver for the United States in the men's combined sports of climbing. Oh my God, Matt! I I knew this was coming to the Olympics, but I didn't really fully like realize what is entailed in a sports version of this, where you're getting points and everything like that. This is so there's three parts to what he did combined. So there is speed climbing, which you have to go straight up as fast as you can, and they were doing many of these Olympians were doing it in 5 seconds. Then there's a thing called bouldering, where you have to you have to get over certain boulders climbing up a wall. And then the sixth or the third one was a thing called rappelling, where you have a rappel rope and you have to climb this
I've
thing. And
repelled.
there is
I've
like
actually gone. I've actually rappelled and gone rock climbing up real mountains. By the way,
yeah.
I have done that, and I've rappelled down a mountain too. If you can imagine it, there's pictures. When I was
This was Yeah, it was crazy because it's not only vertical, because once you get up, then there's like an angle, and so they're like hanging and have to climb. So here is a video of the speed climbing. Hang on. Well, it's gonna be smashed, but you can see how fast they're just going up that wall.
That's not sped up.
Like that. No, this is not sped up.
Can you play that? Oh my god, that's crazy.
I was
That's
shocked because
insane.
again, like it is just those tiny little, and they're just going bam, bam, bam. It's like Plinko, but opposite. I was like, what is this? Because it's so fast. It's 5 seconds. And it's like, oh my God. I would get like two things up and be like, this is not happening.
I would totally face plant. I
But
totally.
it's exciting. So I've discovered I love this sport climbing, and I love dressage. Dressage, of course, is the dancing horses, basically. I'm obsessed. So every time this is on, I'm gonna have to be on the NBC Sports channel and just sit there and just watch. I actually was gonna I played a clip for Justin on the dressage, and because some of the riders use like common music, like Adele or like Snoop Dogg or something, and it's so funny seeing the horse trot to the beat. Um, but I put it on, and it tells you how long the video is, and it was like 5 hours. He was like, 5 hours? I'm not watching that. I was like, I'm not showing you the whole thing, but I could sit there and watch that for 5 hours, guaranteed. Okay, so I said I was going to have a video, so I only have two TikTok videos for everybody today. They're from our Australian swimmer, Sam Fricker. And so this is him. I guess someone commented on a post about why he doesn't have a six pack. Well, the reality of the situation is he doesn't have a six pack because he has more than a six pack. And so here's that. All right. Okay. I'm going to turn the music off so it doesn't get clipped. But so he's like, six pack, what? And then, yeah. I'll back this up here.
Go him.
Okay, here it comes. Like, what? This is Salem. You've got to quit messing with the microphone, dude. This is not a sport for you. Yeah, so I thought that was great. And then we have one more from him that I saw. He was telling us the difference in Speedos.
This is the difference between the training and the competition speedos. Now, the training ones have this green and gold pattern all the way across the front and across the back here, whereas the competition ones don't have it on the back and they only have the green and gold pattern on the front left. Now, that's the difference.
In case anybody wanted to know.
I think you just wanted to hear him talk.
I love the Aussie accent. It's just like, yes. Chris says, call me ignorant, but they're adding so many Olympic sports that I didn't even know they were sports. They're just activities you want to enjoy. Okay, so I was going to mention this a minute ago. There used to be in the Olympics, I'm going blank, tug of war. That used to be an Olympic sport.
Oh my God, I think I knew that.
And so it would be a group of, I think, 5 or 6 men on each side, and they would have a certain amount of time, and it would be whoever could move the point 6 feet. That would be the team that won. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting sports that are in the Olympics that are no longer considered. Firefighting used to be in the Olympics.
I didn't know that.
I guess if you think about it, it's very athletic. You think firefighter training, having to carry weights and go upstairs and whatever like that. Roller skating, I think yes. There was also something that included roller skating that was kind of like field hockey, but you had roller skates on. That did have an appearance at one point. Okay, I have to deal with Salem. One sec. Salem.
So I really didn't know that firefighting was an Olympic sport.
Yeah, it's just like so many of these things, like, some things deserve to be a sport in the Olympics, and then others I'm like, well, I don't know if that needs to be. But I do love, I think skateboarding has been great. They had surfing, which I think is great. Surfing is just so fun to watch. We have a lot of things sometimes here once a year. There's like a surfing events.
I actually learned that my high school back in the day, so we had this not loft, but like the central area that was enclosed. It was in a hallway and it had all these trophy cases on it. So I spent many hours there, kind of waiting. When you're like waiting for something, or they had tables there for studying. And I learned we had like a wind sailing team back in like the early 1900s or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Because my high school I went to Fort Myers High School in Fort Myers, Florida. So, it was older. It was an older school. But just seeing like all the trophies of like weird sports and clubs that were apparently super popular in those decades, and they kind of shift and fall out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting, some of the things that are on there. I think that at one point they were wanting to add like American football, but then that's a little more difficult because of far as who plays it and what they don't. But there used to be croquet in the Olympics,
Seriously.
and then like cricket, lacrosse used to be something. Motor boating used to be in the Olympics. Now, Matt, that's
Stop.
not that's not what it is. But wait, when I visit you, do you want a motorboat? But no, it actually involved an event, they say, strictly for men. They had to race 5 laps around a specific course, like I guess like in a speedboat. Which, okay, interesting.
When you describe it like that, it sounds awful. Like those things like describe your favorite describe your favorite movie poorly or something. Something like that. Like yeah. We should do that. I was thinking we should have Clint on. Actually, one of the things I want to record with him is we read him things and have him see if he can figure out what the term is, like an LGBT term.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that would be fun. And then I thought of a challenge, though. Do you think dad jokes are funny, Cody? Just out of curiosity. Like, do they make you laugh?
I don't know.
So I thought it'd be really funny to have somebody, either one of our mutuals that's on with us, or have Clint come in and do it. And read dad jokes to us, and whoever laughs loses. Now, I will tell you, I will probably lose, like, hands down, but I thought it would be funny.
I would win.
Cody's like, I'm dead inside. I would win.
Chris says, okay, Cody, I think you're starting to make stuff up. Nope. So here's a few more real quick. So we have tandem biking. Matt, we could do this. Right? And there was underwater swimming, and then you have this like mask. I don't know what's up with this. I guess you swim a long distance, and that's why you have to have it. And then see tug of war,
biking.
Let's see, Bosque Pelote, racquetball, basically squash. Oh, here we go.
Here's croquet.
I do love doing this. I used to do it all the time at my grandmother's house.
Croquet?
Yeah. Plunge for distance. It involves diving into a pool and then gliding while remaining completely motionless. Obstacle race swimming, everybody. Oh, that's just a few of them. Well, the Olympics, there's so much there. But I think that's all I have to show you as far as Olympic stuff. But it's been fun. It's been exciting. Of course, the Winter Olympics.
Sorry.
Winter Olympics in 3 or 4 months. We'll see if those happen. I don't know. It's very iffy. I think right now.
Are we gonna have the Chromacast Olympics when I come to visit? Like, we'll do like an off-school course or something. We'll have. Justin
I think set it up. We have to. I think we have to.
Plunge
right?
For distance.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll wear a Speedo. I feel like I'm gonna have to keep bringing back Sam's TikToks occasionally even though the Olympics aren't happening, because why not? And Tom Daly. We may have to have like a segment, Tom Daly crochets, and I love that he's been sitting there watching the different team events or the diving and swimming and just sitting there crocheting.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
I love crocheting as well. So basically,
I don't know how to.
Oh my gosh! So I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win when we have to have a crochet competition.
A crochet off.
Crochet off.
What do we have to? What would be the challenge? What would be the thing we have to make?
This would be something easy. A scarf,
Oh, okay.
a
Well, I
hat.
had a lot of more inappropriate ideas, but okay, we can go with
Oh,
scarves.
I did see that someone not crochet but knit. Um, you can buy knitted speedos, or not speedos, but jock straps, or like underwear of sorts. I thought they were really cute, and they look like little sweaters. And I saw
We'll
that it
make
was like
cute
gray,
undies.
and
That'll be the thing.
I
We
want
make
it.
cute undies.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I can show them off, right?
Right, totally
We'll have to
appropriate.
do like a fashion show. Well, everybody, I don't know what's going on. That's all of our Olympic stuff. We hope you've enjoyed us talking about Olympics the last handful of weeks. Uh, Little did we know when I first mentioned it, like 2 months ago, I guess at this point, that Matt would surprise us with his Olympic knowledge that he has.
I've always
And
been
you,
fascinated by the Olympics, and that goes back to like for my love of Greek mythology and studied it then. And I always thought it was amazing. It makes for amazing art, which of course I've studied. If you don't know this about me, I was really good at my humanities classes, and I've taken extra ones because I love history as well. So again, the history part's probably not surprising, but I did very well in my all my humanities class. I even took another one just a few years ago. And so I spent a lot of time studying art and all of that. So our I guess you say modern day Olympics. I think Olympians in any sport, they're always so fascinating because there's a work ethic and drive, excuse me, that comes with them. And watching them is like watching art in motion. And I think that's really great. So it's just something, it's just for me, it's an easy subject to read about, and I seem to retain it when I read it. So it was just easy. Excuse me.
now
But
you said you don't have as much knowledge on winter sports. Is that correct?
that is correct. I know some about it. I mean, I can probably tell you some basics, but that might be because of Gus Kenworthy and Adam Rapone and other, like other larger
Yeah.
named ones that have kind of started bringing it. I have tried to be better about watching things about it. It just was never something we really watched. My mom was a huge fan of. Well, okay, so we all know about like the Christy Yamaguchi. No, oh my gosh, Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding drama. My mom was a huge fan of Christy Yamaguchi, and I do know about one of the major Olympic tragedies from I think it was the 50s, where there was a plane crash and it killed the entire Olympic ice skating team, if I remember correctly. I think it was in I want to say like the 50s, like the 40s or 50s, and it, you know, demolished the sport. Because you imagine your top 15 or 20 countries, athletes, and probably their coaches and whoever else was on this plane. That's like that's like a couple centuries of experience and knowledge all in one metal tube that crashed. So I do know some things, and probably you were probably not expecting me to say that at all because I know your facial expressions, and you're like,
Yeah.
where the did that come from?
Everybody, he said he didn't know anything, and then he's pulling out this like thing that probably no one knows much about. So,
Right, but
though,
that's a huge event.
yeah,
So it was like I said, I've tried to be better about reading about it, but my love for the Olympics kind of came from back in the day. The Greeks had funeral games. They basically had games for everything. So it was always about reading about that and just being a kind of a geek in general.
well, hopefully, Adam Rapon will once again grace us with his presence at the Olympics. Everyone's
He's funny.
favorite, I don't think it's everyone's favorite, but my favorite, Johnny Weir, will obviously be back for commentary with Tara Lipinski. I think the greatest duo of commentators that there ever has been, uh, because I just love them. And Adam Rapon, if you haven't had a chance, you just want to see some fun stuff on Twitter on NBC Olympics. He's had like a little show that they do once a day, and it's kind of some fun stuff. Even though the Olympics are over, it would be fun just to go glance at it. I do love Adam Rapon. I'd say if this dang pandemic wouldn't have happened, I would have gone and tried to become Adam Rapon's friend since he lives just down the street. But the pandemic happened, and
I can see
it's
really put a
unfortunate.
Yeah, it really put a damper on your brunch
I mean,
plan.
what, Matt? What would you do if one day I just sent you like a picture and I'm just like hanging out with him, just like having
I
drinks
would
or
think that was
something?
neat, but I will be honest, I am not really starstruck by people at all. I think they're really interesting, but I also recognize they're people, and you know, like in general, yeah, it's like when people will say like when people ask some like newfound celebrity in an interview, what do you like when you're not what's your thing when you're not doing your sport or your craft, like the other 80% of your time, what are you doing? They're like reading, or like I like to sleep.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like they'll say something
reading.
like, Cody, that is not the I promise you that is not a hill you want to die on.
Maybe I'm the one that left a 1 star.
Yeah, that's that would be really funny.
No, I would
Cody's
have.
like, this jerk ain't going anywhere. He's gonna coma cast with me. Writer, not in this holy house of hell.
I think one of the good interviews that just happened real quick, mentioning it, Jennifer Aniston she was on the cover of InStyle and they were talking about different things, and I guess COVID got brought up, and she said that she's had to cut people out of her schedule who refused to get the vaccine or did not want to reveal their status on receiving the vaccine, and she's like, they just had to leave my life. And you know, good for her. But I guess that's all we have for everybody. It seems that again, we've mentioned it before, but it seems everybody loves Buc-ee's. So there's that.
That was it's like a cult thing. So when I moved to Texas, so first everybody told me
A
when I
cult
told
thing
people I
that
was coming to
happened
Texas,
quickly.
I was going to be coming to Austin. I found out in December of 15 that I got the job. It was like, or a couple days after Thanksgiving that I got the promotion, and then I signed for it the following Monday and said, okay. I had 4 weeks to plan to move here, and I found out I was going to Austin, and so everybody was like, oh my God, it's like the live music capital of the world. It's also the allergy capital of the world. And that's all I knew. And then of course everyone's going on about how much like how the live music is great and all of this. And I mean, a lot of people don't really know me very well, so they wouldn't know that I literally grew up in music and on music, and I hate live music. Like, hate it. There is nothing
What?
less that I want to do. I don't want to go to karaoke, and I don't want to go somewhere where there's live music because I can't stand it. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because of growing up in music and with a pro musician grandfather who raised me, and myself able to play multiple instruments, I can't not keep time. So when I'm listening, I can't take myself out of I go right back to it and I start counting in my freaking head. My band teachers would be so proud of themselves, but like I'll hear it and I'm just like, oh my God, they're a 16th of a beat off, and I'm like losing my shit over it, and I can't enjoy it. And so I just stopped enjoying it. But
Yeah.
also, people tend to really make freaking fools of themselves in places where there's live music, and I don't know why. Like, just enjoy the show and be respectful of the musicians.
Um.
It's
So
nerve wracking to perform in front of people. You know?
yeah. So maybe we should do karaoke as an Olympic sport.
Yeah, totally. You had me at Buc-ee's. Oh, and that was the other thing. People talked to me about Buc-ee's and In-N-Out and Whataburger and Jack in the Box. And I've had okay, Buc-ee's is pretty cool. Jack in the Box was okay. Whataburger, I think it's okay, but it's okay in the way of, oh, well, I'm really hungry and I don't feel like cooking and I don't want to eat any of the other 48 things I've been eating for my entire life. Let's try this. Like I don't, neither Whataburger or In-N-Out made me, didn't, I was not turned on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to have a conversation. I think this would be a good conversation to have, talking about that and food, because like I think you have to compare it for what it is. So like Whataburger
Oh, I
or
would put it on the bottom.
In-N-Out,
Absolutely not
you have
anywhere
to
in the top 5.
but you have to compare it to fast food burgers. It's like
Yeah, I
when
am.
people
Oh, hands down, I am. Whataburger sucks. The burgers taste gross. When you're biting into them, I can literally taste the water squeezing out of them when I'm eating. And it's happened both times I've eaten it. not
Oh
really
my
like it,
gosh.
and
I would put it
I
at
thought it
number
sucked.
2. Number 1 would be In-N-Out.
Ugh, get me in and out of there, please. Ugh.
Oh my goodness. Is
Okay,
it
I don't want to hear
In-N-Out?
anything from you, you illiterate peasant. You know.
Is In-N-Out go along with your bag of tricks? But
Where
apparently
does the
Bucky's
time
you
go?
can get a credit card if you want a Bucky's credit card. So that's something. I don't know. And Chris, you're right. Talking about there's one opening up in Daytona. The
Ron
Bucky's
Johnson. I haven't been
story,
to a
like,
Ron Johnson forever.
but also okay. So like it says in 1982. So this did not become a big thing in Texas. Uh, since 82. I had not honestly heard of Bucky's at all until like the last like I always get confused too because I've been in California now for like 6 years, but like in the last 8 years I think it's really become what it is. It's interesting that it was so silent for so long and then all of a sudden it's like bam. It's like HEB in Texas. HEB, everybody wants HEB.
Yeah, they're obsessed with it, and I'm like, I don't understand obsessions with. I mean, if they have what you need, that's great. I mean, I can understand that, but it's like,
I
it's
do become obsessed with things.
I don't. I'm the opposite of that. I very rarely the whole conversation of like you being there with like say a celebrity. I would think that's very interesting, and I would say, oh well, don't bother. My first thought would be, oh my gosh, don't bother them. Like you're just hanging out with, just hang out with them. Catch me later. You know what I mean? Like I would, I would feel like awful if, because they're not a thing at the zoo. Like let them just be.
Oh my
Hey,
god,
look at
but
that
if I
like,
if Keith said, "Look at that adorable beaver." Never thought I'd say that as a gay man. I feel like, and then Chris says, "I feel like the one in Texas are better than the ones in Florida. Ours is a mix of Ron Johns and Busy Bees." So maybe if I do meet Adam Rippon and become his friend, we'll have to do like a little skit on TikTok where he like is in a cage, and
oh, there you
you
go.
know,
It's like, well, just people treat celebrities and or well-known personalities, like they know them personally, and I think that's a little. I think that just seems to cross boundaries. Whereas I'm just like, oh, that's really great, the thing that you do, whatever it might be, and then I
that
just
is
want to leave
yeah,
them alone. And if I
totally
come
true.
across the person, or if we were to organically meet and become friends, that's great. But
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
totally true. I mean, I think I've told you this before, but I would be like shopping because so my background TV a producer, but I was also on TV doing entertainment news, and but I would be like shopping in Target or something like getting Christmas decorations or something, and I would have people just come up to me and literally just start talking, like having a conversation. Like we just had to pause for a second and then start the conversation back up. That's how it was. It wasn't like introduction or whatever. It just the conversation just started. And it was like, oh, or I'd be walking out of the gas station and someone would just like start being like, "Hey Cody, how are you doing?" And like because I'm not in that mode, I'm just like walking out to my car to like go to work and
yeah,
people are just talking to me. It was a very interesting thing and it is a very interesting psychological situation because and the thing is a lot of these people like especially morning show people, Today Show, that kind of thing, it makes a little sense because these people watch you every single morning, 5 days a week or whatever. They begin their morning with you. The people on TV, we share our lives many times, what's happening, not really in depth, but you do learn like if someone's pregnant and
like
their
little
kids and you're
things.
showing pictures. So you do feel like you know them. And so when you do see them in public, that barrier that normally would be there is not there because it's like, oh, I know they talked about their kids and this and that. And so it's like, oh, hey, so and so, how are you?
Yeah,
What are you doing?
I
Oh my
could
God, that's
never.
so cute that you have that in the basket. What are you getting that for? Okay, everybody.
What's that cucumber and mask for? Yeah.
Well, as Chris said, it's part of Matt's bag of tricks. Okay, that's gonna be on. Oh my God, Salem, you turned up the volume and it's very loud, dude. That's gonna be on a T-shirt.
Bag of tricks.
Matt's bag of tricks.
Matt's bag of tricks.
Make sure
Well, I've got enough sayings now that we can start making merchandise. My favorite is like the walk it off grandma. You know, like walk it off grandma. You're fine.
Just make sure that you hit the T instead of the D. Otherwise, it'll be Matt's Bag of Dicks. Okay, everybody.
Is there really a difference?
Salem. This is what I deal with.
One of the great things about doing this is when Salem shows up, we get some insight into some Cody's personal life. Or when Salem just... Well, to me, Cody's camera is frozen with Salem coming at the camera, so I don't know actually what's happening now.
Well, I'm back. But with that, everybody, we thank you for joining us. It's been a great show. We hope you've enjoyed our Olympic stuff. Coming up in the winter, we'll do some Olympic stuff too. We might have to do this thing where Matt gives us lessons on what this means in the winter sports. What is that sport? How do you score in that sport? It'll be like a little teaching moment. But so we have that
Cody,
to look forward
if there's
to.
anything I can tell you about myself is that people do not like to learn from me. I promise.
Do they not?
Truly.
Oh
They
my
do
God,
not.
people.
They do
People,
not
if you do
at
not,
all.
people, I'm going to cancel you if I know anybody who is. If I'm producing this,
been canceled
first,
by ComaCast.
if I'm producing this segment, you better like it and enjoy it and watch it. And if you don't, bye. But anyway, everybody, we thank you for joining us for this episode, and we hope you enjoyed learning about Olympics with us. And if you're also watching this and you didn't know about Buc-ee's, well, now you do. It's in Texas and Florida, and apparently it's amazing. And I think, Matt, next time you're ever in one, we need to have it you need to do a little video tour with us so that we can learn more about this cult that I'm not really aware of. Why?
I'm really surprised that, you know what I mean? It just seems like
I heard people talking about it, but again, since I've been out of Texas, there's not one nearby.
You just seem to know these things though. Like yes, I know that I know weird stuff that nobody expects me to know, but you're a Texan. Like you're a real Texan. Like I'm a transplant. I've only lived here 5 years. You were born and raised here. And so it just seems, even if it's not something you're into, I think it seems like you just seem to know all those like cult-like appreciations.
See, but that's the thing. I didn't know it was around in 82. I thought it was a fairly new-ish thing. So I'm going to have to do more research on this because I do think it got only big after I left, because when I lived there, no one was talking about it. And so I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know. I don't know about that situation. Anyway, everybody, I think maybe I'll have a story about Buc-ee's next week. Who knows?
Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Behind this is Cody and I being more ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes on and on. And no one's turned off, so I guess that's good, because sometimes I'm like, no one cares. What? Why are you even watching us talk about nothing?
Yeah, but I've always pushed. When we do this, what you see, especially if you know me in person, this is exactly who I am on and off camera. Like right down to weird, like when I watch playbacks and I see like the weird noises and things that I do, I'm like, oh God. But I don't have to be. I get to be myself for this. That was the whole point of wanting to do this. And I actually said that in our very first, live we did a couple years ago that almost nobody watched. But it's recorded and out there. I was adamant that we were going to do something where I could be my genuine self, and I wasn't going to restrain or curb myself to make other people comfortable. Because if they don't like it, they can make their own damn podcast. And you were just staring at the camera like, oh God, shut up, Matt. Like you were just so not here for it. And I didn't care. And I was like, I don't care. This is why I wanted to do this.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great thing. And it is true. Matt is not telling a lie. That's what makes him fun in person.
Yeah, unfortunately, Keith cannot. There's no edit button for Keith and David. Oh, yeah. Chris says, Cody, Matt has my pictures of my Buc-ee's outfit, so please put them in the Buc-ee special. Cody, I have to text these to you right now. Chris just sent them to me. They're amazing.
Okay. I'll put them in the Buc-ee special. Everyone, Bucky special's coming next week. I'll have something on the
Bucky special.
The Bucky story coming up next week. Be sure and tell all your friends to tune in next Friday at 5 o'clock. It won't be the Olympic special. Apparently, it may be the Bucky special. Maybe I'll learn something.
Picture? They're coming. They're so cute.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, that's going to be in the story. That'll be in the story, everybody. Tune in next Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific, for the Bucky story, the untold story. It's happening. It's happening now. But yeah, we hope all of you enjoyed it. And be sure and tune in next week. Tuesday and Thursday, we have new podcast episodes. We talk about the need for more LGBTQ politicians to help us.
More representation for us.
Yes. And then we also talk about more celebrity stuff, but celebrities not taking baths. And so that was gross. But
I cut off Cody on that. I was like, look, I know this is interesting, but at the same time, like, why did anybody feel the need to say that? But anyway, we'll talk about I am just as grossed out next week than I am right now, I promise.
And we also talking about people like sharing information they didn't need to. We do talk a little bit about the Matt Damon thing. I'm sure many of you probably have heard, where he just was in a press junket.
He's so proud of himself.
A press junket, and literally just decided to share. Was not asked. He just was like, yeah, I don't say the F word, slur against gay people anymore. Ever since my daughter said, you probably shouldn't use that. Making it seem like it just happened yesterday. But again, no one asked you, why are you telling people that you still use that word? But we talk about that too, because celebrities are weird. And I guess the ones that don't bathe, you probably don't want to be around Matt. They may be like animals, right?
I'm so done with this. I'm done with people.
Bathe, everybody. Wear your mask, because it's important to wear your mask right now. If you're listening to this replay and you haven't gotten vaccinated, we've been saying it a lot, so I don't know why you aren't vaccinated, but get vaccinated. Be safe. Yeah, that's going to be our new thing. Wear a mask and take a bath or shower, because you should. I have not taken one today, though, but tonight I will.
You filthy slut.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you later.
There's Cody.
Bye.
There. That is like the Cody I'm used to. Right there. Bye.
Bye.